Right guys, welcome back to the channel and to this little bit of a mini 8th edition battle report. We're going to explore a couple of more things that have just been released over the last few days that weren't covered in the last video. So we've got combat, falling back and running, and we've got a little bit of a psychic phase as well as some shooting. So on either side we've got a 10-man tactical squad with a las cannon and a flamer. And we've actually got a librarian on each side, Mephiston and the guy with the jump pack, which is not a jump pack. And of course we've got a dreadnought on either side here with a twin link las cannon. So we know cover saves are a thing, and we know that heavy weapons don't snap fire if you move. It's simply -1 to hit, but they've also stated it affects vehicles. We're going to look at the fallback mechanic, and we're also going to look at the psychic phase as well. And Lucy is going to take control of this army, and I'm going to take control of this side. The reason I'm getting Lucy in is because she's very used to Age of Sigmar. She doesn't play 40k normally, and it's just to get a bit of a comparison to see how it plays out for people that haven't played 40k before. So we've just randomly put the armies out. Lucy, let's dice off, see who goes first. And Lucy rolls a 4, I roll a 2. Now what we know since the last video is that you advance or run in your movement phase, exactly like Age of Sigmar. So if we move and run these guys forward at the same time, rather than waiting until the psychic phase, and so that is a 6. So Lucy gets a 12-inch move with the flamer guys. Now, one thing that hasn't been said, although you cannot shoot after you've ran, doesn't say you can't psychic. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Now, just to represent something that they've obviously popped up with heavy weapons, we're going to move these guys forward as well, but we want that las cannon to fire because that las cannon has a rend of -3, doing d6 damage, and with this guy having 8 wounds, I think we need to take him out. So we'll push these guys up 6 inches to here. So, shooting phase. We're going to leave that guy where he is because we don't know about combat with vehicles. We haven't got the rules for power fist or anything as of yet. These guys can't shoot, but we can do psychic if they do it in the same order. Because in the hero phase, in Age of Sigmar, it happens at the start of the turn. We don't know whether or not that is still going to happen, if it's going to be at the start of the turn or if it's going to be after movement. The only psychic power we know about is Smite, which is essentially Arcane Bolt. So Lucy's Librarian is going to cast Smite, and I'm guessing you want to go for the Dreadnought.
Yep. So
it's a casting value of 5 on 2 dice, which she gets on an 8. That's how it works in Age of Sigmar. Now they have mentioned there is Perils of the Warp, and I'm going to hazard a guess that if you roll a double, you hurt yourself. But we don't know that yet. So she does D3 mortal wounds, which is a 5. They've said mortal wounds. Mortal wounds ignore cover and everything in Age of Sigmar. I'm guessing that's the way they're going. So let's drop him down to 5 wounds. However, I do get the chance to stop at Lucy because my librarian is here. Much like wizards in Age of Sigmar, I have to beat, or we presume I have to beat an 8 in order to stop it. There's not been any word on that, but if it's the same as Age of Sigmar, so rolling the 10, I would actually stop that. Shooting. This guy up here with the las cannon, again, you know that Dreadnought is a bit of a threat. Now normally Marines have a to hit roll of a 3, but because you moved with the las cannon, it's a heavy weapon, you're at -1, so you only hit on 4s. Which unfortunately was a 3, which normally in old 40k you would need a 6 to hit. However, she's got all the bolt guns within range as well. So that's 4 shots with the bolt guns, hitting on 3s. So that's only 2 hits. Now if the strength and toughness chart is the same, you need 6s to wound, because the bolters are only strength 4. So there we go, no damage at all. You've also got this Dreadnought who is also armed with the las cannon as well, but he didn't move, which means you hit on 3s. So if you're targeting this Dreadnought, she misses. However, that dreadnought has a twin link las cannon, so you can re-roll to hit. She hits, it's -3 rend, but you're wounding on 2s because of how strong the las cannon is. And she rolls a 2. So, we know I get a positive cover save. They've only mentioned infantry in craters and stuff. These rocks obviously obscure him quite a lot, so it's probably going to be +1. He has a 3-up save, but it's reduced down to a 6-up because of -3 rend. But I get +1 because I'm behind cover, we presume at the minute. Which I fail, but it does D6 damage, Lucy. For 4. So not too shabby at all. We'll move over to my turn, and I'm going to move these guys forward as well. And then we're going to move these guys up 6 inches. So, Psychic Phase. And the reason I haven't ran is because I do want to shoot. So Psychic Phase, I'm going to use Smite on this unit. And I get it off on 7. Lucy can attempt to stop it because there's a librarian there. And she rolls a 5, so unfortunately doesn't stop it. So it says D3 mortal wounds. Now I don't know whether it or not it would be on the single model or the unit. I think the power states unit. So that would just kill 1 marine. And if we still go by the same rules, you always have to take the closest model, not in Sigma lightweight, and just take the one at the back. So Lucy unfortunately loses 1 model there. Next up though, we've got a demonstration of the Flamer. So there's no templates anymore. I'm going to shoot this unit with the Flamer, but much like the, I want to say, Judicator's Shock Bolt, it does D6 hits for 1. So that is 1 wound, because strength 4, toughness 4. There's no rend on it at all, Lucy. So you get your full 3-up armor save on your Space Marine. Which unfortunately she loses. So that's another Marine gone. And then we will have the other 4 guys shoot their bow pistols. So 3 hits because they hit on 3s. Strength 4, toughness 4, so we need 4s to wound. So that's only 1 wound. There's no rend on a bolt gun either, so 3 up, which she passes. Now, we're going to move into combats, but we don't know whether or not you can still Overwatch. Overwatch isn't in Age of Sigmar. I'm tempted to think they might take it out, but normally if these guys charge here, Lucy would normally get to shoot back. That's not the case in Age of Sigmar. But these guys are going to charge in, and with a 10, that is definitely going to get them in. Now, one thing that they've said is that these guys are going to get the swing first when they attack. They've not mentioned how many extra attacks or anything you get, or anything along those lines, whether you get bonus attacks for charging. So we're just going to go nice and easy, 1 attack each on the Space Marines. Space Marines hit on 3s in combat, Lucy, so 1 miss. Strength 4, toughness 4, which means I'll wound you on 4s. So that is 3 wounds. There's no rend on their weapons. So Lucy unfortunately loses 1 more model, which holds them up. So, we'll say that's the end of the turn. They've mentioned that leadership tests are going to work kind of like, oh yes, you get to attack back. My apologies. Let's just say 3 attacks because you've got 3 guys there. So Marines hit on 3s. That's 2. And they wound on 4s for none. So, technically you lost combat. If anything that they've said is very similar to Age of Sigmar, they've mentioned that basically models will run away. Now Lucy lost 3 models, and these guys are leadership 8. So basically, Lucy rolled a 3. She lost 3 models, plus the 3 is 6. That is below leadership 8, therefore she's fine. They don't run. Going back into Lucy's turn now, because obviously it would now be her turn. In Age of Sigmar, she could stay here, leave these guys here, and then have all of these still shoot into them. But, I'm not going to do that in this instance, because You can't do that in 40k, but what you can do is retreat these guys out of combat. Now these guys can't shoot, but it means that both of these can now shoot straight into this unit. So, if she was to move them forward, we're not going to in this instance because like I said, just as an example. So you've got your las cannon down there, because you haven't moved, you hit on 3s, you don't suffer the penalty. Which hits, 2s to wound, and it's -3 rend. I'm in the open, my arm's a 3 up, drops me to a 6 up, which I actually pass. Wow. And then you would have 8 shots with bolt guns, because when you're within half range, you get twice as many shots. So hitting on 3s, and the Marines have a to hit roll of a 3, wounding on 4s. So there you go, there's 3 wounds. And I do pass them because the bolt gun doesn't have any rend. We've also got the twin link las cannon from the Dreadnought hitting on 3s, which hits, 2s to wound, and that's a 4. So I've got a 6 up save because it's a rend -3, which I don't pass. Now it does D6 wounds, which would be 5. Now they haven't mentioned whether or not that would kill 5 models because they're only 1 wound apiece. In Sigmar, if you kill the model, the wounds continue getting allocated. In this instance, I think it's just going to be the 1 model. So hopefully that's a bit of an idea. That's a bit of an idea as to how the fallback moves are going to work, as well as running in the movement phase to help try and speed it up. And hopefully it shows you a little bit about what we might expect from the psychic phase as well. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really looking forward to this. Lucy, for you, did that feel quite a lot like Age of Sigmar? Mm-hmm. I know you don't have the stat lines for the Marines, we haven't got them in front of us, unfortunately. But the way it played out, obviously moving and running at the same time, retreating out of combat, does it feel much more complicated or just a bit?
Not really any at all.
It feels almost the same.
Yeah.
These guys previously, I mean, I've tried explaining AP values to Lucy, and for somebody who's used to Age of Sigmar with the rend characteristics, it was a little bit more difficult to get around, and especially with the armor values on the Dreadnought. With them simply having wounds and armor saves, do you find that that's a little bit easier to work out and just keeps the game flowing a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Doesn't take half as long and you don't have to know half as much. It flows a lot better.
Totally agree. So I don't know about you guys, but I am really, really excited about this new edition of 40k, and who knows, Lucy might even start using some of the armies on the channel as well. But yeah, I'm going to do a few more videos as more stuff is released and try and incorporate it into battle reports. If this is helpful for you guys, please let me know. Or if you want to see something different again, let me know and I'll try and get it done for you. But for the moment, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.